The language ladder. Go to your workbook and find the page that looks like this so we can talk about all the skills to get you to your first words. You would have already seen the pre-verbal skills, those skills that happen before words, but we're going to review the top 5 of them here. The first rung of the ladder is joint attention. This is the foundation for all language. You and your child have to be focused on the same thing for them to understand and learn what the words mean. Eye gaze, pointing, and showing are all great examples of joint attention. If we shift our eyes to look at something and our child is also looking at the same thing, we can model that word and they're going to understand what we're talking about. How to do this at home? I want you to truly get down on your child's level so that you can watch what their eyes are looking at. That gives us the perfect opportunity to match the word with what they're already tuned into. And one fun thing to try is a look at this game. Let's try strengthening joint attention by pointing to different things around the room. You can point over there and get really excited and say, car, I see a car. You can point to the table and say, table, let's sit at the table. But you're gonna try and point around and get your child to tune into what you're looking at as well. Imitation. Before a child can copy a word, they need to be able to copy what they see and hear, and you are their best model. Think monkey see, monkey do. You're going to do something, and their job is to copy you. In your workbook, you're going to find an imitation hierarchy that will help guide you through what are the easiest things to copy and what's a bit harder. Actions with objects is a great place to start. Push the car, bang on the drum, stir in a bowl with a spoon, or even pretend to eat or drink. Actions with these objects can be a great place for your child to start to copy you. When working on imitation, remember the rule of 3 we already talked about. Even though it's not a word you're modeling, you're going to do the action and pause and give them a chance to copy you. You'll do the action again, pause, and wait again for them to copy you. You might encourage them by saying, you try, your turn. And always if you have 2 of the same object, it's perfect so that you can model and they can copy. Next is body movements. Think big body movements to start, like marching or jumping or rolling. And once they can copy those big body movements, move to smaller body movements like waving or pointing or even signing something. Smaller movements yet would be facial expressions. If you smile and get them to do it, stick out your tongue, do some eyebrow raises, or anything small on your face, they might want to start copying those before we're going to ask them to start copying words. Next up is those symbolic noises. So those fun noises that are easier to copy. Moo for an animal noise, or uh-oh when you drop something. And if your child's starting to copy all of those things, from actions with objects to big body movements to smaller body movements and facial expressions, they're probably ready to start copying those real words. Again, the rule of 3 is always going to be helpful. Mama, wait. Mama, wait. Car, wait. Car, wait. The rule of 3 is going to be helpful through this whole process. A tip for imitation, copy your child first. If your child's doing something, copy what they're doing and then wait. Often that's enough to get them to look up and pay attention and think it's kind of interesting that you are copying them. To review, imitation is about getting your child to copy you. You're going to use the rule of 3 by doing it 3 times in a row. You're going to start by copying them and adding one new action. And remember to look at the hierarchy to start big and work your way small. We are moving up the ladder to receptive language. Receptive language means what a child understands, not what they say, but just the words that they're already understanding. Children need to be able to understand words before they say them. And sometimes we might think our children know more words than they do because of all the context cues we use. We use lots of pointing and gesturing and showing, which are great strategies to teach them, but we need to make sure they understand those words exactly so that they can use them. Is your child understanding single words? Are they understanding action words? Are they following routine directions like grab the book or your shoes? Or are they following one-step directions like get me the blue ball? These are all important things to know of how much your child's understanding you. One strategy I love to use is by an SLP named Laura Mize. She talks about tell them, show them, then help them to help with receptive language. So first you're just gonna tell them, go get me the little ball, and we wait. If they go towards the ball, we know they understand. If they go grab the car, we know they didn't understand that word. So next, we're gonna show them. This is when we add lots of gestures. If all the farm animals are out and you say, give mom the cow, and they go grab the horse, we're just gonna gently correct and say, wait, cow, 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 and show them the actual cow. Then we'll say, give it to mommy. Give the cow to mommy. We're gonna add lots of gestures to show them exactly what to do. And finally, if that's still too hard, we're gonna help them. We will help them pick up that cow and give it to the person that we asked. Or if we said something like put the cow on the table, that would be a little more of a complex direction. So we could take the cow and put it on the table and then ask them to do it again. We don't wanna overprompt all the time. So we think about, tell them, they're just gonna do it by themselves. Show them, add the gestures and add the pointing and helping. And then the third one is help them to actually pick up the item and do the action with them. When we're giving directions and building receptive language, it is important to add all those gestures in. It's also important to exaggerate the keywords, to keep the message short, and to repeat the same way. So you could say something like, get your shoes, go get your shoes. Or maybe it's something like turn the light off, light off, light off. So you can still use the full sentence, but then really exaggerate and highlight those key words. And also remember to pause and slow down so they have time to process. We want to keep things at their language level and then wait to make sure they had time to understand before we're going to repeat and tell them again. If your child is having difficulty with following those routine directions or understanding single words, you may want to do a few things. First, you may want to get a hearing evaluation. There could have been something like an ear infection or some fluid buildup in those first few years or even months that even though they passed a hearing screening in the hospital, it's worth checking out again. You may also want to consider getting a full speech and language evaluation by a speech therapist in your area. This course truly is targeted towards kids who understand language and just have trouble getting words started. I'm going to be giving you, the parents, strategies to add things to your day to get more words coming out easier for your child. But if there is a true receptive language delay where they're having trouble understanding, tuning into you and really following directions, you should start with a speech therapy evaluation to see why this is hard for your child and get some individual advice. Now we're at gestures. Gestures are the bridge to words. They let your child communicate before their actual speech starts. The more gestures we have early on, the more words we'll probably have later on. In your workbook, you're going to find a handout that's 16 gestures by 16 months old. These are ideas of things you can teach your child to add more gestures. So things like shaking your head, no, nodding, yes, clapping, pointing, even shrugging your shoulders, brr, being cold. All of these gestures are going to help your child communicate easier with you. Research actually shows that gesture use at 18 months predicts language use at 3.5 years. Best way to teach gestures is just to use them a lot. Again, think about that rule of 3. We're going to wave when someone comes in the room, and we can also add the word hi, hi, hi. When we do it 3 times with some wait time between, that's more likely our child can copy us. If your child does something very exciting, you can clap. Yay! Wait. Yay! Yay! You can even grab their hands, if they're okay with physical touch, and help them start to make those gestures so they can feel what it's like. Here we are at sounds. Sounds are the building blocks for real words. Every coo and babble and playful noise is the building blocks for real words. Any sound or noise your baby makes, we're going to react to it so they know that that meant something. We're going to repeat it back. So if the baby says ba ba ba, you repeat it back, ba ba ba, and add one more thing on, ba 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 boo. Something new that they can try to copy. The rule of 3 will come into play where you're going to do it a few more times in a row, giving that wait time for baby to try and copy back. Maybe you've heard of the word parentese. This is when we change our voice to highlight what we're saying. we're going to make our words long and stretchy and use a higher pitch voice. This is all so that our child tunes in differently and listens to the sounds we may be saying. Wow, look what you have. It's not about baby talk, but just about changing your voice to make those sounds really interesting and stick out. And finally, we're reaching those single words. This is probably going to happen around 12 months of age. You can go back to the milestones versus average chart to review how the milestone is what 90% of kids have at this age, and the average is that 50% range. First words often start with those sounds that they can see because they're easier to imitate. So things that are made with their lips are going to be the first to start. Mum, ball, pop. Those are easy to see, so we can model those first. When starting out, a child's word is probably going to be a simplified version of that word. Ba for ball, because they don't have all those sounds yet, and it doesn't matter. We're just going to repeat that word back how it should sound and celebrate every attempt. Ba, you're right, it's a ball. Ball, ball. We are not expecting the child to say the word back to us perfectly, but reinforcing that that word did go with that object is all we want them to know. Once a child's first words come, we want to expand the variety of the words that they have. Often, nouns or things that you can see are the first words of a child because they're easy to identify. Ball, cookie, mum, all things I can see. But knowing what words to model for our children is really important. We want to add in action words right away. Things like eat, come, help, go. Those are all really important words that a child may not be able to see, so they're not going to use right away. Make sure to offer a variety of these words to our children and show them how to use these power words. In your workbook, you're going to find a handout with power word ideas. Again, these are things like come, go, help, open, look. These are words that we might not think of right away because they're not something you can see right in front of you, but they're super important to start to model to your child. Think about being your child's voice. I want you to interpret the actions they're already doing and add a word to it. Your child may be grabbing your hand to show you something. You can add the word come. Come, mommy. If they're pointing out the window, you're going to add the word look and model what they see. If they're frustrated and can't get their container open or their snack, you can model the word open. But these power words are going to be so helpful for them. Two helpful strategies when thinking about modeling words is self-talk and parallel talk. Self-talk is talking about what you're doing. Mommy's washing her hands. I'm washing. Wash, 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 wash. Parallel talk is talking about what your child is doing. You're washing your hands. Wash, wash, wash. Your hands are clean. Try this today. Pick 3 moments in your day where you're just going to describe what you're doing and then describe what your child's doing. It can be any part of your day. Let's take getting dressed. I have a shirt. I put it on. Here's my sock. I put it on. That is all self-talk, describing what you're doing in your day. You can keep the language short so that they can understand easier and make it a little repetitive. Modeling without expectation. I want you to think about your child's language level now. If they're starting to use one word, I want you to model one word for them. Speak at your child's level even if they don't respond immediately. Comment on what your child sees or what they do. Remember the rule of 3, and we're going to model over and over. Your child says up. You can say up. Yes, let's go high. Up, up, up. You want up. I want to tell you about building 2-word phrases and then 3 words. Remember when I said we should offer a variety of word models to our kiddos, including those power and action words? This is because when we start to add words together, we need a variety of words. You cannot make a sentence just out of nouns. Think about some nouns. Cookie, milk, mom. You can't make a sentence out of those words. We need action words or location words or descriptive words. We need a variety of words to put together to make sentences. At around 18 to 24 months, your child will start to combine words. Before doing this, they need to have 50 words already about that, and they need to have a variety. They need some nouns, some action words, some describing words, some location words. All of these things will work together to start combining. Let's talk about location words. This could be an easy way to add some variety to your child's language. So if your child's already saying ball, then you can add one more on for a new word. Ball in, ball out, ball throw. Just a few of these word varieties can make a lot of word combinations. If we did on and off, you could talk again about ball on, ball off, light on, light off, car on, car off. This gives so much more variety in those two word combinations. Let's think about action words. Eat is a great one to start with. Mommy eat, daddy eat, baby eat, eat cookie, eat apple. These are really simple language models and a great way to add combinations. Here's a couple tips for adding words together. First, pick a word that your child's already using and then add a new word on. If they're already using puppy all the time, you could then say puppy eat, puppy sleep, puppy come, because then they know that puppy is the word that they already know and we can add on that new one. Another tip is to put that new word at the end so that it's the last thing they hear. For instance, if you're teaching colors, you could say car red, car blue. They already know the word car, but now we're teaching something new and it goes at the end, so it's the last thing they hear. Keep your phrases short and playful, repeat over and over, and continue to follow your child's lead. Remember, it's something they're already looking at or playing with, or they're giving you one word and you're modeling one more to it. Listen for a word your child says. Add one more word to it. Repeat this 3 times. Car, go. Car, go. Car, go. Pause each time and give your child a chance to practice. Your child should start to be using 3 and 4 words together. We're going to continue this one-up strategy to keep building on the words they're using. Think about adding something new to what they're saying. If your child says, dog, run, you can say, yes, the dog is running fast. The dog is running slow. This adds some description and new words while also giving them the grammatically correct form of what they're saying. Your child is going to simplify and also leave out those little words. This is okay, but we're going to repeat it back to them without pressure and without asking them to change it. Gently repeat back the child's message to them, adding in their correct grammar and adding in some new words. Child might say, me go to park, and you might say, yes, you're going to the park. I'm going to the park too, so they can hear how that might sound. I go down the slide. I love to swing. Again, you're going to give them that grammatically correct sentence and fill in those little spots. We're going to swap in more descriptive words, actions, feelings. Look on your workbook and I have 10 different things you can add to your sentences. Shiny car, dull car, new car, old car. We're going to listen to what your child says and add in new words. Another great idea at this point is to make some comparatives. This one's tall, but this one's even taller, and this one's the tallest. It's a great way to add new vocabulary by using those ers to compare. This one's heavier, and this one's lighter. This one's the lightest. Using those endings adds even more variety of words to your child's sentences.